Cloud9 are a staple org in esports, and came into Valorant's partnership system with that same reputation. No one would have called them the worst org in franchising a few months ago, but after recent events, questions are being asked about their place in the league, and whether they were even a good org in the first place. Let's go through what happened, and find out if C9 really is the worst org in Valorant franchising. They weren't actually supposed to be in Tier 1 Valorant at all, but after G2 were denied a spot in franchising because of Andrew Tate, Cloud9 replaced them in the Americas League alongside orgs like Sentinels, Loud, and 100 Thieves. They wanted to create a team that could compete at the highest level, and so signed two top North American talents to add to their roster. The first was Zelsis, who played with Version 1 and Sentinels previously, and clearly had great skill and experience at the Tier 1 level. The second was Ye, Optic's Chamber God, universally the best Valorant player of last year, and even the Esports Player of the Year for 2022 at the Game Awards.
And the Game Award goes to... Ye!
He was the single best player any team could have signed for 2023, and he chose Cloud9. Zelsis and Ye joined three of C9's existing players in Leaf, Zephyr, and Vanity, all of whom were internationally experienced players with huge talent. Many called it a super team.
Let's talk about the quote-unquote super team being formed in the North American region, which is Cloud9.
While others were waiting for their first matches in Sao Paulo at VCT Lock-In, the first tournament of Valorant franchising. But it wouldn't be an easy ride either. Their first opponents were Paper X, the same squad who reached second place at Masters Copenhagen last year, known for their creative and aggressive playstyle. If C9 could shut down Paper X, it would give some merit to the title of super team.
He's walked up behind Zephyr! I can't believe Cloud9 got away with that!
They've got to try and spam already. It's mixed up. Leaf's just going all the way. He's going to get it all the way through. That is ridiculous. He just stuck it all the way through.
13-8. Absolute decimation on Paper X's map pick.
Flash very far away from being back online, but Seekers might give it to him. Smart. It is going to be the res instead, but he's going to go swing it off it. What is that from Zappa? He just eliminates everyone. It's done. It is over. C9 have destroyed Paper X.
They did just that, very comfortably in fact, only dropping 12 rounds across 2 maps to win 2-0. Everyone was playing well, and this seemed to be the team that was promised. The real test would be their next game though, against DRX, Asia's best team by far. It started off really well for C9, winning 13-3 on Pearl, but once DRX hit their stride, they were unstoppable.
He's invested, Paranoia sent out already, Buzz and Stax both finding kill. Stax gonna double down, much better from DRX now. Yeah, he's reading this perfectly, he knows they're tucked in. What?
Buzz! Unbelievable. Plants come through here as well. They're trying to get into it. Not going to happen. Yeah, Plants in. This is lovely from DRX. Clean work. RB. No stress. Beautiful. Oh, and it is Stax! Incredible work! And DRX are immovable at this point!
They won Haven 13-7 and Icebox 13-2, utilising Harbour in a way we hadn't seen before. C9 didn't have the answers to respond in the final map, and got sent home in a very fitting way. It was disappointing for C9 to go out in only 2 matches, but it was still a good showing from a relatively new team, and Ye seemed to fit in well. He was the only player on the team to go positive across that DRX series, so you can imagine the entire community's shock when he got dropped. Seemingly out of nowhere, it was leaked that Ye was parting ways with Cloud9. At the time, no one seemed to know why. His performance at Lock-In was good, and he'd never been a particularly egoistic player. Some people thought that the problem was within the team, with the contrast between Vanity and Ye's reaction to losing against DRX. People seriously thought that Ye was leaving the team because Vanity was laughing. Crazy. But as time went on, it became clear that the reason was almost certainly financial. With how good Ye was last year, his salary can't have been cheap, and we know that esports as a whole isn't in the best financial position either right now. C9 released an announcement video that gave some more insight into their move, but they cited it as role issues, which didn't really make much sense.
Metas are going to change, and flexibility and role issues are something we need to continue to look forward to, like addressing and fixing as the team goes on.
They did allude to finances in the video though.
The reality is, considering the players that are on this team and the cost of this roster, we all had very high expectations of how we would do, and we weren't meeting those expectations.
And Jack, the owner of Cloud9, gave this response on Reddit. So yeah, it was mainly about money. That doesn't quite explain why Vanity was dropped too though. Only a week later, reports of Cloud9 dropping Vanity also started appearing, and then it was confirmed by the org. Vanity would of course have a decent salary at C9, but nowhere near what Ye was making, so dropping him probably wouldn't have as much of an impact on their finances. This was probably more of a team synergy decision. Vanity has been on C9 for a long time, and the org possibly just wanted to switch things up. The other C9 players didn't seem too happy about him leaving, judging by their posts on Twitter though, so who knows. But while C9 were dropping 2 world-renowned players, they weren't looking for any to replace them. Instead, they seemed to be trialling exclusively players with no buyout, which meant mostly collegiate players and players on free agent teams. Marvd was in the conversation for a while, but he likely commanded a salary that was too high for C9. This gave even more reason to believe that C9 didn't have the money to keep their super team. And eventually, C9 chose their new players. They've signed Rooney from Sonics and Jakey, who was on the University of St. Thomas Valorant team. No disrespect to these players, who look like they have great potential, and I'm sure MCE will be able to coach them well, but they are filling some huge shoes, and simply will not be at the level of someone like Ye. We'll have to see how the new team performs in the Americas League, but it's safe to say the hopes from the community aren't exactly high.
They lost Ye, Vanity's to follow. Rumor has it they lost some sort of crypto sponsorship and they can't afford them anymore. I'm not really sure exactly what is going on with Cloud9, but things do not look good. Cloud9, I'm not going to judge their performance. I'm just going to put them in D tier. Yeah, let's just move on.
Reasonable.
But should we have seen this coming? Over the past few months, C9 have made some serious sacrifices across the whole organisation, likely to protect their finances going into the incoming global recession. They dropped their Halo team, their Apex Legends team a month into the season, and their female Valorant team, Cloud9 White, even though they got 4th at the Game Changers Championship, indicating that they probably didn't have the finances to support that many teams. Not only that, but judging by C9's newest jersey design, it seems like more and more sponsors have started to back out of deals with them, which would result in even less money coming into the org. With some orgs completely stepping out of esports like the Guard and E United, C9 are probably trying to stay financially responsible just so it doesn't come to that. But is it financially responsible to sign Ye if you know your finances aren't in top shape? Probably not. There's no denying that C9 didn't deal with this situation well, and it's left Ye in a terrible position for franchising, as he now officially won't be playing in Tier 1 at all in 2023, barring an emergency transfer. He's still clearly one of the best players in the world, but has been denied the opportunity to play at the top level because of the management of an org, which should never really happen. But on the other side, the balancing act between creating a title-winning roster and keeping your org afloat is a difficult one right now. C9 have only been a stable org in esports for so long because they typically spend money well and look after their finances. Calling them the worst org in franchising over this situation is a huge exaggeration. That doesn't change the fact that they blamed role issues for this though, and it doesn't change how many people will call them Cloud9 in their Twitter replies. But what do you guys think? Are Cloud9 the worst org in Valorant franchising? And how do you think their new roster will do in the Americas League? Let me know down below, and don't forget to subscribe. I've been Commend, and thanks for watching.